Hello everyone! Welcome back. My name is Jumbo Fluff and I am here with another video today. Today I'm going to be making a friend for my buddy Banjo here. We made him out of clay a few weeks ago and now we're going to make Fiddle, his best friend. She's a little opossum and she's pink and she's cute and she plays the fiddle. So let's get started. So to get started on making Fiddle, we are going to take some aluminum foil and smush it up real good. I like to start with aluminum foil because it's nice and lightweight, it's easy to shape, it's cheap, because clay is pretty expensive. So if you make a whole sculpture with solid clay, it would cost a lot more than if you just put the outside in clay. So I just mess around with the aluminum foil until I get a vaguely possum-ish shape. To describe a possum-ish shape, let's see, it probably is like kind of like a ball. There's like, you held it until it stretched out a little, and then it's like kind of like a teardrop, and then you put another ball on top of that teardrop, and then you take that ball on top and then you hold it by a point until it stretches out. Then you got like the body, and then you got the head, and then you got the snout. Yeah, that's basically the possum's center bits all together. So after I got done wrapping up the aluminum foil, I just slapped some white clay on there, and I just use any colored clay for this step usually. Just because I like to have my armature nice and hard so I don't have to worry about it falling apart while I am sculpting on it. You'll see that I bake my clay a few times throughout the process just to kind of like stop squishing the details that I make, because I have a tendency to squish everything, which is quite the bummer. So right about here you can see where I have finished wrapping up Fiddle in all of the clay and giving her some little wire arms and tails and a little log to sit on, and then ta-da! I baked her too long! Oh no, this happens sometimes because I'm very forgetful and I don't always set the timer, so she got a little toasty, but that's okay because this is the inside layer. We're gonna cover it up with lots of colors and you'll never even know if I didn't show you just now, but you know, I did, so you do know. But that's our secret now. So I started wrapping up the roasty toasty layer with some light pink clay. If you have seen the video where I drew Fiddle, she is a pink possum. She has a light pink belly and face, a slightly darker pink back, and then kind of like almost fuchsia-ish hot pink arms and legs. In real life, possums are gray, white, and dark gray. But, you know, my dumpster pals are all very pretty, bright colors because that makes me happy. So that's how Fiddle is going to look. I ended up giving Fiddle kind of extra long arms. So she might look a little strange, but it was really difficult to give her a fiddle if I didn't make her arms really long, so that's okay. She just, I think once I add the fiddle, it like makes it not draw so much attention, but right now she just kind of looks like a little noodle arm freak, but that's okay. Let's see, so I had a lot of fun making Fiddle. I always have a lot of fun making polymer clay things, but some of the things didn't turn out quite as I was hoping this time, so that was a little bit annoying. I had a really hard time with her hands and feet. They got squished, and then on her stump log, it's not a stump, it's a log that she's sitting on, I added a little bit of like flowery details, and some of those came off when I was messing with other parts. So that's why I'm saying that you should really bake your sculpture as often as you can, because it is really annoying whenever parts fall off. I decided to give Fiddle a green fiddle because of green being Banjo's color. I thought it would make them look nice when they are together. I wanted it to look like they were playing a performance together with their little band. as of right now, I think I have done 4 dumpster pals in my illustrating series. I have Banjo, Fiddle, Mox, and Hazel. And they all play a different instrument, so we'll see. I might work on Mox eventually here in a while, and then Hazel after that. And I have plans to draw. I think I'm going to draw 3 more dumpster pals, so maybe we'll add them too. We'll see. We'll have a full band. If you're wondering what kind of music they play folk punk. Because that's, like a kind of music that likes raccoons and opossums. So they go together perfectly well. I had a lot of fun at this stage. This is after I baked her a second time. So this is all, her body is like hard right now, so I'm not worried about squishing anything. So I had a lot of fun coming in now and adding the details like the wood grain on the log and the rings on the tree inside. You can see her foot there. I squished it so it looks like kind of bent backwards, and it also got green on it because I dropped her violin on it. I'm very clumsy, so it was not an easy process for this sculpture this week, but that's okay. Another time that we baked Fiddle, she came out of the oven, and like right now, the log part that I'm adding the leaves and stuff onto, that part has been baked, so I'm not worried about squishing it as I add on the leaves and stuff. Because if you try to texture the log and then add leaves on top of it, they probably would squish all of the details that you put in. So it's not really the best way to do it. But some of my details, like the little vines and stuff, fell off. So if I were to do it again, I would probably have used a little bit of liquid Sculpey to hold them on there. Usually, if you blend stuff in, you don't need liquid Sculpey. But when you're just kind of making things and placing them on top, you do, because it works like a glue. So if it's not like blended together, it needs something to help it adhere, or it can peel right off, which is what happened to my leaves, some of them. So that was a bummer. I also took some time to smooth out the fur on her face and her head and her back, and just kind of get everything looking more smooth and flat. And I also gave her a little sign that I wrapped in her tail because I thought that it would be really cute. She's holding something. I didn't really know what I was going to write on the sign because I didn't know what sentiment Fiddle would have for the adoring public. But I ended up putting tips in case, someone wants to give them some money, like maybe they're busking, because, that's something that folk punk musicians do. So yeah, I think that the sign came out really cute. I gave it a few little nails too, you can see sticking out. It broke when I was baking it one of the times, so I added a little strip of like dark gray to kind of look like duct tape, because I feel like that's something that they would do if they were trying to fix their sign. So it's just kind of like in the story of their lives, like they also broke it, so they were trying to fix it. I also added this fiddle. I made the fiddle separate, and I also made a little bow to play the fiddle separate. And then I just attached them with some liquid Sculpey. But I did have a little bit of trouble keeping the fiddle in her hand, so I ended up just super gluing it after it was all done, just to fix it because I didn't want to bake it again. So I was getting tired of baking it. And also I wanted to paint her face and stuff. The last time I made one of my dumpster pals, I used glass eyes, and I think that they're a lot easier to use than paint, but I did think that they kind of lacked a little bit of personality that the characters had in their sketches, so I didn't want to do that again, so I decided to paint the eyes this time. And you can see I just used some paint markers, and you can see my dogs in the background helping. And Fiddle has bright green eyes that match Banjo, so that was easy enough to do. And I also added a few more details, like adding the whites on the end of her ears, like I said. And I added a little bit of pink lines on top of her cheek blushes. And I added some letters onto her board to spell out tips with a Z because she's a possum, so she probably doesn't know how to spell that good. I mean, that's pretty good for a possum, really. But yeah, I thought it was cute. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this project. If you stuck around for so long, thank you so much. I hope that you can like this video, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.